So I needed some floating shelves in my kitchen, and I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I totally broke it with this epoxy. I had lots of little bubbles and pour over and drips, so I'm using a knife and I'm scraping off all the edges that were kind of funky, and I gotta sand it to bring it back to about even. Obviously, you can see there needs to be a little more order added to the shop, but one project at a time. Now that I scraped off all the excess epoxy so I could get a flat reference surface and use my table saw, I needed to actually clean things off so I could use my table saw. Then I need to true up each of these shelves so they're the exact same width, so the rest of everything I'm doing kind of makes sense together, and that I have a 90-degree surface reference on when I take it over to the miter saw and trim them to final length. Now that everything is all cut to length, I need to sand down all the saw marks I left and get this thing ready for epoxy. What you're going to note is I didn't get a video of the first pass of epoxy, but there's plenty more to come. I love the way epoxy looks when it just rolls onto the walnut and makes it look good. Scratch that. I love the way the walnut looks when the epoxy just rolls over the top and just brings out its color. After this coat, it actually turned out okay. There were a few imperfections that I needed to touch up in the matte finishing, which unfortunately I didn't show you here. You'll see the finished product at the end, and I'll dive into more detail on a future video when I make more shelves. Okay, so now what I've got to do is, remember how I said I was using Festool connectors to go to the wall? Well, I have to go ahead and I got to cut all of my lovely shelves. Just take a little bit off so that I can drill the shelves to the wall and secure them with the Festool Domino connectors. If you remember, this was the prototype of the shelf with the domino connectors. These are what they looked like when they were done with the matte finish. Obviously, there's a little chaos in my kitchen. And then if you look over above the stovetop, you'll see I got a few more of them up there. And there's some blemishes, not perfect. And in a second, we're going to go to the top left shelf and look under there and see. Right there in the back, you can almost see the seam and you can see the little lids for the connectors. But floating shelves. Thanks for watching.